All right, welcome back to the Carl Jackson Show. A great guest earlier with Jim Nails. I hope you got a lot from that. Now, I want to move on to the vice presidential debate that occurred earlier this week. Many people agree, and so do I, that J.D. Vance won that debate. I don't know how much it'll move the needle, but I suspect that it will. With the race that's so tight, with a race that's so close, I do believe that J.D. Vance impressed upon some of those independent thinkers, some of the more moderate voters, if you will, that he was the better man for the vice presidential job. And I think he actually helped the Trump campaign. So in such a tight race in some of these swing state battles, I think that this debate could make a difference in swaying some of the people to go to the Trump camp. I think what J.D. Vance essentially did, or the performance that he essentially put on, and we'll run through the gamut of some video with you, I believe, and I know this is going to come to a surprise to many of the people that are out there in the conservative movement like myself. I believe the debate was somewhat boring, but I believe that J.D. Vance came across as likable. He came across as consistent, and he came across as substantive. And quite frankly, these were all of the things that needed to occur in order for J.D. Vance, in my opinion, to win the debate, make himself likable, and help out President Donald Trump. Because what you got with J.D. Vance was the policies that Americans need. A lot of Americans may not like Donald Trump's personality, but what J.D. Vance gave them, and I give him credit for that. I didn't agree with everything he said. We'll go through that. But I think he put on a stellar performance the more that I thought about it, because I think he put on the performance that he needed to put on. People that are turned off by Trump, whether you like to hear that or not, they got to hear Trump's policies, and they got to hear them with substance and detail from J.D. Vance. And that helped, I believe, voters have an oh yeah moment, not an aha moment. Don't confuse it with an aha moment, but an oh yeah. I think what J.D. Vance was able to do in that debate is take people back to the Trump era and say, remember this, remember this, remember this, remember this. And Kamala Harris, you've been here and you haven't done this. So without further ado, there were several issues that they hit. Obviously, Vance hit Harris's record. Walz tried to hit Trump's record. I don't think he did a great job for Kamala Harris, but I got to tell you, I don't think he did a horrible job. I just think that Kamala Harris is a horrible president. I think Walz will be forgotten somewhere in the near history, and people will remember what a horrible candidate that Kamala Harris was. And quite frankly, I think that a lot of conservatives have said, hey, listen, Kamala Harris made a big mistake in picking Walz. She should have picked Josh Shapiro. I would agree with that, quite frankly. But the bottom line is Kamala Harris stinks so bad. I'm not even sure that if Josh Shapiro was on the ticket, he could make things better for Kamala Harris. But both of the candidates hit each other's J.D. Vance hit Harris's record. You had Walz hitting Trump's record, or at least attacking Trump. The debate was civil. I guess it's that Midwestern, thing. So that was really cool to see. And I actually think that helped J.D. Vance a lot. He endeared himself to many other people in the middle who, again, may not like Trump, but looked at J.D. Vance. They liked him. And then as he helped them to recall or to remember Trump's policies, I believe a lot of people out there said, oh, yeah, I do remember that about Trump. So I give J.D. Vance the edge. I believe that he won some voters for Trump. I don't believe that Walz gained any voters for Kamala Harris. They touched on home prices. J.D. Vance had his mic cut. There were some tough questions for both of the candidates, and obviously the debate was completely biased. I would urge the RNC to never, ever, ever allow CBS or ABC, for that matter, to host another presidential debate. These people are just too biased. They live in a bubble. They're nothing but Democratic activists, and we saw that again last night with Norah O'Donnell and Margaret Brennan, and they were snobs. If I'm just being honest, they were snobs. Without further ado, let's run through some of the highlights of the debate real quickly here. Let's go to video clip number 1. And let's run this. This is Tim Walz. He was asked about why he lied about Hong Kong, and it wasn't a great moment for him. Let's roll that, Gabe.
Governor Walz, you said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989. But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year. Can you explain that discrepancy?
Yeah, well, and to the folks out there who didn't get at the top of this, look, I grew up in small rural Nebraska, town of 400, town that you rode your bike with your buddies till the streetlights come on, and I'm proud of that service. I joined the National Guard at 17, worked on family farms, and then I used the GI Bill to become a teacher, passionate about it, a young teacher. My first year out, I got the opportunity in the summer of '89 to travel to China. 35 years ago, be able to do that. I came back home and then started a program to take young people there. We would take basketball teams, we would take baseball teams, we would take dancers, and we would go.
Gabe, do me a favor. Let's go all the way to the last 30 seconds or so of this clip. Meanwhile, I'm going to tell you why Tim Walz got himself in trouble with this particular clip. And the answer is simple. It's because the guy has turned out to be a perpetual liar. He did not travel to Hong Kong at the time of the Tiananmen Square massacre, basically. He came afterwards, all right? So the guy lied, and he has a propensity. He has a proclivity to lie. And once again, that was on full display last night. Gabe, let me know when you have that last 30 seconds ready. And then all right, let's go ahead and roll that.
All I said on this was I got there that summer and misspoke on this. So I will just, that's what I've said. So I was in Hong Kong and China during the democracy protests went in.
Every time this guy lies, he misspoke. He was inarticulate. No, you didn't. You're not inarticulate. You lied. This is what Tim Walz does. And that's a big problem for Kamala Harris because it goes back to her own credibility. Let's go to video clip number 2. You got a tough job here. J.D. Vance did one of my favorite clips in the entire debate where he calls out Walz, or actually shows sympathy towards Walz, because he has a tough job to do. He has to pretend like Donald Trump was horrible and Kamala Harris was great. Let's roll it. Video clip number 2, please.
Honestly, Tim, I think you got a tough job here because you've got to play whack-a-mole. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver rising take-home pay, which of course he did. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver lower inflation, which of course he did. And then you simultaneously got to defend Kamala Harris's atrocious economic record, which has made gas, groceries, and housing unaffordable for American citizens. I was raised by a woman who would sometimes go into medical debt so that she could put food on the table in our household. I know what it's like to not be able to afford the things that you need to afford. We can do so much better. To all of you watching, we can get back to an America that's affordable again. We just got to get back to common sense economic principle.
All right. So that was, this is what J.D. Vance was able to do so well. He was able to pivot off of the answers that Tim Walz was given, and it really impacted the debate tremendously. Walz often seemed lost. He seemed like he was uncoached or overcoached. Some believe he was not good on his feet whatsoever. He was not good at looking at the camera, and that does take some getting used to. But this guy, as well as Kamala Harris, have been avoiding interviews for so long, and it obviously paid. It didn't pay off for him. It didn't pay off for him last night. And J.D. Vance was right. He felt sorry for him. I think that was a great tactic, basically, to call Kamala Harris out, quite frankly, and also call Tim Walz out. And then also give Donald Trump props. Donald Trump did a great job. Kamala Harris didn't. I feel sorry for you because you have to defend someone that had disastrous policies. Let's move on to video clip number 3. This is Tim Walz. They're talking about censorship. Let's roll that real quick.
It's a damning non-answer for you to not talk about censorship. Obviously, Donald Trump and I think that there were problems in 2020. We've talked about it. I'm happy to talk about it further. But you guys attack us for not believing in democracy. The most sacred right under the United States democracy is the First Amendment. You yourself have said there's no First Amendment right to misinformation. Kamala Harris wants to use the power of government and big tech to silence people from speaking their minds. That is a threat to democracy that will long outlive this present political moment. I would like Democrats and Republicans to both reject censorship. Let's persuade one another. Let's argue about ideas, and then let's come together afterwards.
You can't yell fire in a crowded theater.
Let's hold it right there. First off, he's lying. You can yell fire in a crowded theater. The problem is how people respond. If people run over each other, then you're in trouble. But you can say what you want to say in a crowded theater. People may want to turn around and slap you or say, be quiet or something like that. But that is not illegal. That is a total falsehood by Walz and Kamala Harris. This guy has a love affair with censorship, as does the Biden-Harris administration, as does Kamala Harris. You guys may recall that Kamala Harris was one of the people that encouraged Facebook, Twitter, and all of these big tech organizations to censor Donald Trump after January 6th. This is the Carl Jackson Show. We'll be back with more of this on the other side, as well as my reaction to the Hurricane Helene response and Israel and Iran. Carl Jackson here for MyPillow. You've asked and MyPillow has listened. They're finally bringing you the most requested offer ever right now. You can get the queen size premium MyPillow for just $19.98. MyPillow is made with a patented adjustable feel. It adjusts to your exact individual needs, regardless of your sleep position. It helps to keep your neck aligned, and it holds its shape all night long, so you get the best sleep of your life. Plus, it stays cool. But that's not all. You can get their 6-piece kitchen or bath towel sets for just $25, the brand new mattress topper for as low as $69.98, and their famous MyPillow bed sheet for as low as $25, and so much more. All you have to do is go to MyPillow.com or call 800-858-0263. Use the promo code Carl to get huge discounts on all MyPillow products. That includes the premium queen size MyPillow for just $19.98. That's the lowest price ever. So don't delay. Order today. Use the promo code Carl, C-A-R-L. I don't spell it like the communists.
Clarifies for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status, temporary protected status.
Well, Margaret, but
thank you, Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret, I think it's important because
we're going to turn out of the economy. Thank
Margaret,
you.
The rules were that you guys weren't going to fact check, and since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on. So there's an application called the CBP One app, where you can go on as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum or apply for parole, and be granted legal status at the wave of a Kamala Harris open border wand. That is not a person coming in, applying for a green card and waiting for 10 years. That is the facilitation of illegal immigration, Margaret, by our own leadership.
Thank you, Senator, for describing the legal process. We have so much to get to, Senator.
Those laws have been on the books since 1990.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The CBP One app has not been on the books since 1990. It's something that Kamala Harris created, Margaret.
Gentlemen, the audience can't.
Okay, so let's address the obvious at the end. Tim Walz says the CBP One app has been available since the 1990s. Do you guys know of any app that was available in the 1990s? There goes Tim Walz lying again. But this CBS so-called journalist, this Margaret Brennan, made a huge mistake, because now people are going to Google the CBP One app that were not informed about the CBP One app. So kudos to JD Vance for mentioning that and calling her out on violating their own rules. Major mistake. Not only did CBS and Margaret Brennan show her bias as a Democratic activist in that debate, but she also made the mistake of allowing JD Vance to be able to inform the audience that not only that she's a liar, but that a lot of information has been hidden from their viewers when it comes to this illegal immigration process, especially when it comes to not just Haitians, but a lot of illegals that are using the CBP One app and being literally flown all around the country and dumped off in small communities where they are stressing out the communities and their resources. So huge mistake by CBS. Let's play another video and I'll comment on others. And then I want to just opine quickly on on what's happening with Israel and Iran, and what we have to look forward to, maybe, which concerns me very much so. And also what's happening with Hurricane Helene and the victims there. I want to get into that because this is really important. But first, let's do this. Let's play video clip number 4. These are the candidates talking about paid leave. Let's go ahead and roll again.